Your mind is wandering between 10 different things. You want to do the work, but you also want to scroll through short-form content. And you sit there watching this video without realizing you've already made 1,000 decisions today. The problem is, you don't know how to control the urge. You don't even know if you are experiencing decision fatigue or you're just distracted. And that is the best place to start. But because you're living unconsciously, most of the time, you stay stuck in the same place for years or even decades. Hi, I'm Jaradona. I'm a 19-year-old who made my first $4,000 through online business. I did it because I know how to not just make the best decisions, but the right decisions every single time. You might be stuck in a normal job, constantly wondering if it's time to quit. You're trying to start your own business, but you don't have the skills yet. And every time you end up back to square one. Well, I've been there hundreds of times. You don't need to follow every influencer tells you to do. You just need to be honest with yourself. What is the best decision you need to make right now? And I'm here to tell you the truth. You already know the answer for most of your problems, but you don't take that information into actions. And that's why you don't know if starting a business right now or just continue your normal job, which one is the best decision. And that is why you can't decide between quit your job and start a business, because you don't know what is the best decision to make right now. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can make the best decision every single time. This is why I started my fitness journey at 16 years old, start making money online at 12 years old, and made my first $1,000 at 16. You got to first reduce the mental load and to make priorities in your life. So let's dive into the video. Let's talk about how you can reduce the mental load. Every day when you wake up, you open up your phone and start the rabbit hole of scrolling. You're trying to consume as much information with just 10 seconds video. An hour passes and you've watched 400 content, but you don't know just one information you get from it. This is the problem with overstimulation and social media addiction. You train your mind to pull the dopamine wheel to make you engage in a digital world. But let's be honest, in real life, you achieve nothing. You don't have a great physique. You're not a millionaire. You're just a loser, wasting your time in your bed, scrolling for 10 hours every day. The problem with short-form content is that you constantly feed your brain with trash. When you overconsume information, you can't decide which one is good for you. And this is why you have too much mental load and hard to make decisions, because you're used to watch thousands of videos every day. Your brain also gets punched with thousands of decisions you need to make. So if you want to make the best decision each time, first, you got to reduce the mental load. It's not because you're not good at decision making. It's because you're trying to make one decision with hundreds or even thousands of options. Imagine you go to a restaurant and they got thousands of dishes. Your mind is confused by all of this information. You're trying to decide which one is the best option. But if you just faced with 10 dishes, you can decide which one is the best. It's pretty much the same thing in your life. So this is how to reduce the mental load. Aware that you are in unconscious state 99% of the time. You don't know what you've done for the past few hours or even minutes. You are in a state of distraction. So first, reduce your activity in a day. Focus on just top 3 things you want to accomplish. Do deep work for your business and learn how to play guitar. Just do these things and call it the day. It's easier said than done if you don't have specific things you got to do. Now, ask yourself, what if this is the last day of my life? What is the best thing I can do with hundreds of options that stuff in my face? Because you have thousands of tasks you need to do every day, you got to realize that you only have 24 hours in a day. Those 24 hours are far more valuable than thousands of decisions you want to make, because you can't do everything in a day. This is why you need to think if this is the last day of your life. It will create a sense of urgency, the emotion that forces you to make the best decision now. But because you don't have urgency, you procrastinate to make decisions. You procrastinate to start the task. So you got to realize that you are unconscious 99% of the time. The only way to reduce the mental load is to do less things in a day. Stop engaging in short-form content. You're not getting the best information out of it. Train your mind to do one thing at a time so that you're good at making decisions. So keep in mind that to reduce mental load, focus on just top 3 things you want to accomplish in a day. Now you've reduced the mental load, you have top 10 decisions you want to make today. but you don't know which one is the right and the best decision. This is why you need to write it all down and compare between those with the metrics. Let's talk about how you can use the decision matrix. You only use the conscious part of your brain in your life. The problem is, when you want to make decisions, you don't think of it consciously. You use the unconscious part of your brain to make decisions. So if you want to make the best of the best decision, you got to wait between pros and cons on those decisions. This is simple. Just spend the next 10 minutes to decide, and your life will improve thousands of times because you make the best decision that have an impact in your life. Let's say you want to make money through side hustle. You might wondering between 10 different things you can do because you've watched hundreds of videos about side hustle. They will make you 10 grand per month. So I want you to focus not about the outcome, the results. Focus on the cost that is required to make money. Let's say you can flip some sneakers and make hundreds of dollars a day. You might start this side hustle because you want to make money. But the problem is, you don't know how you can get the retail price of these shoes. You don't know where to find these sneakers. And you don't know what type of sneakers that most people want. So another example is when you want to start personal training at the gym. Because you've been going to the gym and built a great physique over the past 4 years. It seems easy at first because you can go to the gym and train your clients and make money from it. But here's the catch. You've been going to the gym for 4 years. You know what type of exercise that is effective. You know about good habits, nutrition, and sleep. You suddenly start to teach this knowledge because you've been doing this for the past 4 years. So this is how to use the matrix. Compare 2 or more decisions you want to make and write it down, every single aspect of it. So for example, you want to do different side hustles. Let's say the first one is flipping sneakers, and then personal training, and the last one is making educational content on YouTube. So the first question you need to ask to filter everything is how good I am at doing this. If I were to start these side hustles today, then what if I'm not making money from it in the first 30 days? Is this the work I want to do for fun or just obligation? So those are some examples. Because if you just mindlessly following the internet, these influencers tell you to start drop shipping, social media marketing, because you have these metrics to answer. See the bigger picture. Because making money is not easy. You will struggle at first and get results in the next 2, 3 years or even 10 years. Wait the pros and cons for every decision. Then you will know which one is the best for you. It's not about the outcome you won't get from the decision. It is the experience you get from the decision you made. You learn more from your personal training than just making money from it. So whenever you face hard decisions, just write it all down, the pros and cons. I know it's hard at first because you don't know if you're being objective. So this is why you need to use first principle thinking. Think of the true reason why you want to do it by following the objective truth. Let's talk about first principle thinking. When you have some decisions to make, it's hard to know which one is the objective. Because we live in an emotional changing world. We can't think logically because this world is run by humans. So you got to realize that first principle thinking is how you find a real reason why you want to do one thing. So here's the example. I've been going to gym for 3 years now. I want to know the real truth why I've been consistently going to gym. Just ask this. Why do I have such a great physique? Because I've been going to gym for years. Why do I make it as a habit? Because I want to do it for the rest of my life. Why do I want to do it for the rest of my life? Because I want to stay fit and attractive. Why do I want to stay fit and attractive? Because I want to attract females and get respect from men. So with the first question, I know that I'm so disciplined. But when I ask deeper, I know the real reason why I've been consistently going to gym. It is because I want to attract both females and males' attention. Of course, I want to get healthy and look attractive. But maybe the true objective why I go to gym in the first place is not because I want to be healthy, but because I want status in a human race. And this is happening for everyone. And most people don't realize it. Why do people want to buy sports car? Is it because comfort or sporty look? Maybe. Or having a sports car signal status. Because we're human, we crave the validation of others. This can be a good and bad for a decision. Ask deeper. Why do you want one specific thing? Why do you want to make money? Is it because you want to survive? Of course. Or is it because you want to build wealth and attract better people in your life? You need to use first principle thinking on every small thing in your life. Use first principle thinking for some big decisions you want to make in life. Maybe you want to move to another city. starting an online business, or even buying a sports car. Because it's better to know the real reason why you want to make one decision and realize that all of this is because you want status and validation of others. Before some big decisions you want to make in real life should benefit you, not other people. That's how you make the right decision. You don't make decisions to get validation from random people on the street. You truly want to do it because it will improve your life. So when it comes to make decisions, you got to realize that there's a long-term and short-term. You use the first principle of thinking to make the long-term decision. Before the short-term decision, like you want to go to Bali for a week, you don't need to think the first principle. So now let's talk about how you can make the long-term and short-term decisions. Every time you wake, there are decisions you need to make to achieve the goals you want and the life you imagine. The skill of decision making is the thing you need to harness. But because you're constantly making decisions without you realizing it, you don't realize the decision you make right now will have an impact in the future. And this is why you need to be aware of the long-term and the short-term decisions. Let's say you want to start an online business. Business is all about acquiring skills, and to develop the skill set, you need a long enough time frame to harness it. You can't just learn about marketing for a week and start your agency. You constantly harness your knowledge and actually practice it in real life. This is why to start a business or get a normal job or even move into another country should be your long-term decision. It is hard to tell which of the decisions you make is short-term or long-term. So here's the example. Going on a full-week trip to Bali is a short-term decision. You don't really get the benefits in the long run. Of course, you will find it fun, but after a month or two, you come back to your normal life. So this is how to find the long-term and the short-term decisions. Write down 3 specific goals in health, wealth, and relationships. You want to get the 15% body fat and achieve an aesthetic. You want to get to 2 grams per month from your online business. You want to have a young, beautiful model type of partner who also complement your weaknesses. And now ask yourself, will I feel some sort of emotions once I achieve it? Will my life change drastically if I put my stack into the journey and achieve 1% of the progress? Because you want good things to happen to you. But if you're constantly feeling the emotions once you achieve something, it is not a long-term decision, it's just short-term. The long-term decision won't make you happy in the moment, but it will make your life better in the long run. No human on earth happy in the moment they achieve $1 million. I believe the hard work, the experience, the business that they make brings them fulfillment more than just the achievement itself. Of course, milestone is a good thing. It will remind you on the goal you want to achieve. But if you're constantly thinking in the present moment, trying to make you happy right now, you will sacrifice your future. This is why you need to prioritize long-term decisions than the short-term. Let's say you want to lose weight, but you make short-term decision like eating that ice cream after the gym. It is impossible to get the long-term win from your health. So keep in mind that there is no bad or good between your short-term and long-term decisions. You just need to keep aware that most of your decisions in life should be the long-term. So this is why it's hard to make decisions. The introduction to short-form content back in 2020 has made people more lazy than ever. People don't want to watch the full long-form content. They think they get more information with just 10 seconds video. Most people spend 3 to 4 hours on their phone, and most of the use is social media. You consume hundreds or even thousands of information. You don't even know what one information you get from scrolling. You're so addicted to short-form content and overstimulation. Your brain are used to compare between hundreds of information, and that is why you always find yourself hard to make decisions. It's hard to do it because you experience the decision fatigue. You're constantly thinking about more and more options until you can't make one decision. And the only fix to this is just to reduce your scrolling habit. You don't need to consume more information. Filter the best information possible. Just start watching 1 hour long podcasts and learn new knowledge from it. And I know this will take months to build a habit. In the next 6 to 12 months, your life will improve. You no longer have decision fatigue. You now can make the best decisions. You will find it easy to make decisions because you're no longer overstimulated and consume thousands of informations every single day. So, how to make the best decisions? Everyone knows how to make decisions, but smart people know how to make the best decisions. It is hard to make the best decisions in your life when you don't know the good or bad. You won't find the truth with just the pros and cons. So the general rule is that when you feel some resistance, when you want to do one thing, that is the best decision you need to make. Let's say you want to learn about sales and marketing. It is easy for you to just watch educational content or just listen to business podcasts. But now, I want you to go out there, go to your city center, ask everyone if they can get you $1. That's also how you learn sales and marketing. Not just consuming content and taking notes from it, but you practice the knowledge you get. Now suddenly, you feel some resistance. You fear of someone judge you. You don't want to talk to random people on the street, but if you do, that is the best decision you need to make to study more about marketing and sales. It will teach you more about human nature and how you handle objections in real life. Another example, if you want to get an aesthetic physique, but you hate that one exercise, that is the best decision you need to make. Just do one exercise even if it's hard, even if you hate that exercise. It applies in everything in your life. If you feel the resistance, then it is a good sign to do it. I know you won't suddenly make best decisions overnight. This is the skill you need to harness every day. Face yourself with the scenario where you feel the ache to make decisions. To find good from bad is easy, but to find the best of the best, it is hard. That is why it is hard to make the best decisions. Since I practice these 4 principles every day, I've seen huge improvements in my health, wealth, and relationships. In fitness, I always push through and make progress every month. In business, I learn new things every day and level up my content production. In relationships, I know how to handle people emotions. All this because I practice everything in this video. If you want to develop this skill faster, so that you can make the best decisions. This will help you to start focus on what matters and achieve your goals faster, whether in your health, wealth, and relationships. Consider working one-on-one with me. I've created a one-on-one program that teaches you how to develop your focus on foundational level, so productivity is no longer the problem. So in this program, I have 5 frameworks that will help you to make results in just 12 weeks. Paulo and Sekat, my students inside the program, has transformed their life forever. They no longer struggle with focus and productivity, especially making decisions, and they're now making money online as a result following the framework inside this program. So click the first link in the description below. Also, don't forget to grab my $1 ebook, link in the description below. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.